This is the best my lawn has ever looked, and it's thanks to Anthbot robot lawnmower. Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. I was outside and I'm trying to pretty much put my yard to bed for the year. I got leaves falling, and so we're getting leaves raked and everything. And I thought I would bring my little Anthbot robot lawnmower out one last time for the season. And I thought I'd just tell you how I feel about it after using it for a season. So I am in the process of doing my fall cleanup for my yard, right? I got trees all around me, leaves are everywhere, and I was pulling out my robot for, probably the last time of the year. And I said, you know what? I am very happy that I have this year. So I just thought I'd just give you kind of a product review after using it for a full season. But I need to first turn them on and get them going. So let's get Pat started. And then we're going to talk about how Pat has really changed how I think about my yard and how much time I spend on my grass and my lawn. So let's get Pat started first.
Bluetooth pairing successful. Heading to designated area to start mowing.
All right. You go and get your work done, okay, Pat? So as I was saying, when it comes to my robot lawnmower, y'all, at first I was like, I don't know if I really need this tool or not. But y'all, yeah, it's a game changer. It really is. So one of the things I thought was a con, which was, y'all, this thing is super slow. It takes all day to cut my backyard, and I have a pretty big backyard. But you know what, y'all? If I'm not doing it, do we really care how long it takes? I believe I pulled out my rotting lawnmower maybe 2 or 3 times the whole year. And that was because I was in a little bit of a hurry. But typically, y'all, I just let my Anthbot do its thing, and the lines are straighter. Oh my goodness, it leaves a beautiful lawn. It chops everything up nice and small. And I can't make my lawn look like this when I'm on my riding lawnmower. And I don't have one of those big, expensive lawnmowers. So I'm very happy with that. Let me get out of its way because it'll go around me, but I'm not trying to get it to go around me today. There are little bitty blades. So the cutting zone, I think, is only 7 inches wide, but there are little bitty blades on there that does the cutting. And I've been using it all season long, and I only had to change the blades once. And I really didn't have to change the blades. I just flipped them over and used the other side of the blade. So, one set of blades lasted the whole season for me. It absolutely did a better job of keeping everything level for me, so that now that, the leaves are out and everything, I didn't have to worry about getting lazy and not cutting the grass. And now the grass is too tall and I'm having a hard time, raking leaves and that kind of stuff. I was able to get my leaves up yesterday in like 30 minutes, front and backyard. I was able to get them all piled up in like 30, okay, maybe 45, because I had to put it all together. But I was able to do that because the grass stayed a constant height all season long because I didn't have to do it. The only thing I had to do was say, Pat, go, and Pat did what it needed to do. But y'all, I'm super happy with this. So if this is something that you've thought about, when you think about the price of it, it's not that bad. I didn't have to put gas in my lawnmower, and I know most lawnmowers are going electric anyway, but when the battery went low, I didn't have to go take the battery off and go plug it up. It just drove itself and put itself up. So I am super, super happy with how this lawnmower has done for me this year. I've had neighbors stop by and talk about just how well my lawn looks this year and how the lines are just so straight. I can't do that with my lawnmower. But Pat has done that for me. Here's a few pictures just showing just how straight the lines are and how clean it looks and how professional the lawn looks, which is amazing. And I also can divide my lawn up into sections and we can focus on one section if I'm doing work in another section. I love the app. I was able to start my lawnmower up and I was in another state, y'all. I was in another state. I started the lawnmower up so that my mother didn't have to worry about cutting the lawn while I was gone. So it's, y'all, game changer, game changer. If there was one thing that I would have liked differently, one, I would prefer a wider cutting base, but in order, and I talked to Anthbot about this, but in order for them to have such precise cutting like this, they needed that more narrow 7-inch, path. So I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, I'm not cutting, and it's absolutely beautiful. The other thing is that I have a pretty large lawn. I'm not quite an acre. I'm just under an acre, and I have one of the smaller units. If I had a larger unit, I wouldn't spend as much time charging because it could run longer without having to charge so much. And y'all, that's it. That's the only two downfalls for me. The small width of the rows, which again is not really a downfall, and the fact that it had to charge a lot because I have a very large lawn and I'm using a smaller unit. Now, Anthbot does make a larger unit. I just didn't have that unit. And the links to the Anthbot will be below. I think there's a coupon below. All of that kind of stuff will be below if this is something you're interested in. And y'all, the prices are not that bad. But anyway, I'm out here letting my robot run for its last time this year, and I figured I'd just let you know how it's doing. And it's working and I'm not. I can go do something else, which is what I plan on doing, like focusing on the rest of those leaves while this one puts me these beautiful straight lines. One of the other things that I want to share with you is that the height of your grass, there's so many different options on how tall you want your grass. And I found the perfect height that I couldn't get with my riding lawnmower. So I'm happy with the height. And the app lets me change the direction and mix it up so that, one week I got horizontal lines and the next week I got vertical lines. And that's actually better for your grass. If you always cut your grass in the same direction, that's really not good for your lawn. So this gives me the ability to cut my grass in multiple directions to keep it healthy and get it to the desired length that I want it. When that first leaf or two fell, I was able to keep the robot running and it was mulching those one or two leaves up so that I didn't have to rake the leaves, blow the leaves, or do anything with the leaves for much longer this year than I've ever had. So I could wait until I get a better pile of leaves, if you want to call it that, before I had to do something with the leaves. Thanks to the robot here, I didn't have to worry about them. I think I got maybe an extra month in before I had to worry about leaves this year. So it's mulching up much finer than my riding lawnmower would, whether I'm talking grass or if I'm talking leaves. I also mentioned that I have a very large property and it has GPS tracking on this unit. And so when you get to the very front of my property, I was really concerned on whether or not it was going to be able to stay connected to do a good job. And it did. I mean, it really did. I mean, you can't even see the base or anything around the base from my front yard. And it still did an amazing job in the front as well. Game changer. I do not regret having it. It's the best thing, honestly, for me. I work in my garden. I'm doing things, in my yard, whether it's in the garden, harvesting, planting, that kind of stuff. And I don't have to focus on my lawn at all. So after using it for a season, I still give it 2 thumbs up. Pat's still over there doing its thing, making these beautifully straight rows for the last lawn mowing of the year, or should I say grass cutting of the year. Can y'all see those lines? Y'all see that? You see those beautiful lines going through the yard right now. Pat doing his thing. My robot lawnmower has done some amazing work for me this year and is giving me a ton of time back to do other things. If you're interested in one, the links will be below. If you have questions about my experience with the Anthbot, robot lawnmower, please leave me a comment and I will try to answer any and all questions you may have. Y'all, I like to keep it real. If you've been on my channel, you know I like to keep it real. And if there's something I don't like, I'm going to tell you I don't like it. I gave you the pros and the cons of the Anthbot robot lawnmower after 1 year's use. And y'all will see it in my yard next year as well. So that's it for today. I'll see you back again here real soon. Bye.